Welcome to the graffiti jungle. Paolo Pulingue. Benvenuti nella giungla dei graffiti. Questaway impostore, rockstar, a podcast. So you say, we working on a podcast. Sono to a capo, yes, sono, Chief Gihareh, Julius Caesar, Augustus, Gihareh. Alright. Samurai Champloo, Episode 2. Reaction, recap, review, anime review. Let me get the poll going. Alright. Let's here. So the poll is going. I have a Samurai Champloo t-shirt that is available for purchase. Link in my description box. Link in the description box down below. And I'll probably take, this is what it will probably be on the next Samurai Champloo t-shirt. So a little more simplistic. I'm not as, the Cowboy Bebop designs was a lot. The Samurai Champloo may be a little more simplistic, a lot more. If we decide to keep going and delving into this, we'll see. So, a couple links are in the description box. One is to my website with all types of merch. We have shirts, hats, cups, pants, joggers, you know what I'm saying, hoodies, denim jean jackets. There's a lot of clothing, blankets, bandanas, workout for men, and you know what I'm saying, clothes for men and women. We even got a small section of baby clothes. So Project Extinction is my clothing brand label. But yeah, the link to that is in the description box if you want to look at any of the merch. And then if you can afford it and you like it and you want it. And if you would like to join the channel to see more of my content and other, behind the scenes content from the channel, the link to become a member of the channel, we have 4 tiers: the bandits, the rugged soldiers, the hustlers and pimps, and the chiefs. Those are the 4 tiers. So if you want to join the channel, if you want to become a member and join the graffiti jungle, that link is also in the description box. And if you just would like to support the creator, which is I, and then that is in the description box as well. So, episode 2 of Samurai Champloo. 2 is due in Italian. It is dos in Spanish, but episode 2. So, let me see. On the last episode, we're introduced to Mugen and Jean. Those are our 2 samurais, one in red, one in blue. And we have a girl, her name is Fu. So this episode starts off with a guy letting another one out of jail. So one of the things that's noted is the fact that the guy carrying the keys to let the other one out of jail, he only has one arm. So he's missing an arm. And the guy that's in the cell, something has happened so that he just kind of has a vengeance, right? So other than that, that's how it kind of like starts. Now, episode 2 wasn't as episode 2 didn't just go back and forth between too many like types of different scenes. Episode 1, there was a lot of, it jumped a lot, but he was able to follow along. Now, you have the person that letting them out, and after they let the one guy out. This is an anime review recap reaction to episode 2 of Samurai Champloo. So that's how the episode starts. Letting the guy out of jail. Now, it goes to our main characters, Mugen, Jean, and Fu. They're hungry, and so they have to go find something to eat. They hear people talking, and, well, they're like, you just gotta, with all this internet and technology out here, find a way to watch what you want to watch. So, the Pirates of the Caribbean. So, they're arguing. They overhear some people talking about an ogre that's just kind of going through the city here. So, Mugen, he'll show off his skill, prowess, you know, fighting, self-defense. And he'll do that. And so, like, it was these guys talking, and one guy was like, I'm not really a samurai. I'm a samurai by name only. He's acting like he's like just scared and a little this, that, and third. But Mugen says, you know what? If you guys feed us and whatnot, we'll take out the ogre for you, whoever this ogre may be. So, before they continue to set off, another man intervenes into the conversation. He was like, you guys aren't going to go travel through the night and through the mountains right now, are you? Like, we don't have money. Yeah, protection for food. That's what they kind of sort of offer, yeah. Like the Italians. Buonasera, buonasera. So, he says, well, you guys aren't going to travel this night. He was like, well, we don't have money for lodging and a place to sleep. So he was like, well, there's a place up the road. Go up there, and nobody's there. You can stay there for free, and then make your travels in the morning. So they're like, all right, we'll do that. So they go to this little cabin bin that's nobody's whatchamacallit. And so while they're there, on the way there, they see another woman, right? So she doesn't have her shoes on. She's walking, and Mugen goes to see. He helps her put her shoes on and whatnot. She was like, "Thank you for helping me." He's like, "What makes you think I did it for free?" Right? So they have that little exchange. Mugen, Jean, and Fu, they walk up to the inn. They make it there, right? I forgot to mention something. So while they were eating, Mugen, Jean, and Fu are the main characters. So while they were eating, Fu, she's a girl, she drinks something. She's like, oh, this is some good water. It was like, you sure know how to throw it back, don't you? And then she just instantly passes out. So it wasn't water that they gave her, right? It wasn't water. So she has it. She passes out, right? She sleep. So technically, while they're walking to this inn, Mugen and Jean, they basically they carry her in a wagon, right? So from there, they're like, yeah, we should just kind of like ditch her. But they actually say something a little more brash. Well, Mugen says something a little more brash. She's like, bro, chill out. Then they see the other girl, and Mugen goes to talk to her. They get to the whatchamacallit. Now, this is where there's a split. So when they get to the inn at the night, they leave Fu there. She's still asleep. Mugen is like, I have places to be. No, I got things to be and places. I got things to do, people to do. Again, I'm watching it. I'm hearing the English version, but the subtitles are saying something a little different. But he says, I got things to do and people to see. he kind of, I don't know. He ends up with saying people to do. And so Gene is like, oh, that woman, huh? Now, this is how they kind of like, this is how they split up. So Fu is passed out, right? She's been knocked out all day. Gene then goes to, mind you, it's old times, samurai. There's like, I wouldn't call it a, it's like a spring, right? There's a spring. So Gene is in the spring, just, sitting there, whatever, right? Fu passed out. Mugen goes to see the other girl, right? So when he goes to see the other girl, she was like, he was like, he's like, well, what'd you invite me for? She was like, when a woman invites a man and they're together at night, it's not a lot they can do. Let's skip all this other stuff. He was like, you sure move fast, don't you? She was like, what are we wasting time for? You know why you here. She was like, I invited you for such a, is one of those. So I was like, yeah, okay, all right. The vibes are there. The vibes are there. So she cut straight to the chase. And so then this is where things take a turn for everybody. So while Fu is passed out, the guy from the beginning, the one that they let out of jail, and the one missing an arm, this whole thing was a setup. So the guy missing the arm is the one that set all of this up. And he has the other guy that he let out of jail. He's like this ogre. Just as an aside, this what kind of makes you think about in the movie 300. In the movie 300, when the Persians are coming, they do have a like this big ogre brolic character, right? So that's what he's like. They let him out of jail. They call him ugly, so you think of like Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Beast. So he's ugly, but he's strong and whatnot. And so the guy let him out of jail, and he's using him to help him. So he set all of this up. So while Fu is still sleeping, Fu, she wakes up, she's like, and he was like, oh, don't wake up just yet. And then, so they take Fu, right? Gene is in the pool, in the hot spring or whatever, and then the other guy gets in the spring. And so like, in this one, there's also these fireflies. So he was like, these fireflies, do you know why they glow? And so I'm sitting here thinking he about to say something like, real, whatever. But he's like, they're trying to like send off these signals and mate with each other. But he was like, every once in a while, a male will try to get another male. And it's like, Gene was like, yeah, it's time to go. I got to get up out of here. But then the guy was like, all right, well, I also, the guy that I know, your friend, she's in trouble and something else. So he was like, the guy you're looking for, the samurai who smells like sunflowers, yeah, I can help you with this, right? And it was like, he was like, so he's just looking at him. Because this is also the same guy from the tea shop earlier when they was eating. So he was like, it's like just weird vibes, right? So it was that. Then Mugen. So Mugen is with the other girl, right? He's with the other girl. Now, mind you, she up on him, and then I ain't know how far they was gonna go with it, but she do get on top of him, right? And so she go to kiss him, but then he's like, what did you just try to make me, whatchamacallit? And she was like, it's some mushroom or whatever. She was like, by itself, it's not whatchamacallit. But with the sake, oh, you probably won't live too much longer. So he's like, you. And she was like, well, if you want the antidote, she was like, yeah, the guy, he set me up. He told me to come get you. He told me to set this up. He knew that you would, come try to be with me, this and the third. He gave me that. He just told me what to do. And so she was like, he has the antidote and he has food. So you might want to go find him. So Mugen leaves, right? He goes back to the inn, nobody's there. So now from there, Mugen goes to look for food. And as he's walking, then he runs into the ogre, right? So Mugen starts fighting the ogre, but he's kind of weak. So he's kind of weak. And so while Mugen is fighting the ogre, Gene is fighting the other guy, the one that was at the hot spring, and this on the third. He was like, assassin. He was like, I'm not a whatchamacallit. I get hired to take people out, you know? And so so Gene and the other guy, they start, he was like, I haven't met somebody this good in a while. This is all right, right? Their scenes of them going back and forth, the whole time he's fighting Gene, he's just telling him how good of a samurai he is or a fighter and whatnot. But it's like really short. It's not really of anything, any real substance or whatever. Mugen is trying to fight the ogre off, but he's kind of weak. He's like, my arms feel like noodles. But the guy with one arm, it's like basically Mugen is losing, and so somebody said this. It's the thing that annoys you, but somebody explained the logic behind this. Cause we as an audience be like, bro, just end this. Why are you sitting here talking? Just take him out, right? But the person kind of explained it was like in real life, certain people do want to see the other person struggle. They get off with that, just that power and seeing somebody weak and helpless. So that's kind of drawn out in a sense of, yeah, I just got to see you struggle and I got to, you know what I'm saying, this one, the third. So the guy with one arm, you know, has basically coordinated this whole thing to kidnap food, to set them up, and to have the other guy, whatchamacallit, right? So he's like, yeah, he's doing a lot of talking. Mugen has his head in the water. He's like, yeah, you can't breathe, can you? Fu, she gets up, knocks him into the water, and then he gets up, he slaps her. It's like, your turn, bitch. Like, so he's torturing, you know what I'm saying? He's going through his whole power thing with that. So this is how things kind of take a switch. What's up, Chuck? This is how things take a switch. So I forgot to mention this part, so I'll mention it now. When the guy with one arm, his whole reason for setting all of this up was he said that Mugen was the reason he only has one arm. Mugen's like, I don't know you. I don't know what you're talking about. So he was like, bro, you how you don't? So that he's mad about that or whatever. That's why he set this whole thing up. But the other part was when the guy with one arm turns his attention to Fu, the girl, there was a part where the ogre guy and Fu are alone. And while they're alone, the ogre, they called him ugly. They were just like throwing fire at him. Like they keep cutting to the scene where it's like people with torches throwing fire at him, calling him ugly. He's this big, ugly ogre and this and the third. So he was like, don't look at me. I'm ugly and this and the third. And everybody's afraid of me. So Fu was like, I'm not afraid of you. She looks at him. She's like, I'm not afraid of you. And then she was like, but I'm looking in your eye. There's a little bit of sadness in your eye. And she says that to him or whatever. So if we fast forward back to the scene, when the guy turns his attention to the girl and he has his sword at her neck, the ogre stops. Mugen's already had his head in the water. The ogre grabs the guy with one arm. And he was like, what are you? And so he takes him out. The reason it's so important that he takes him out is the fact that the other guy, the one who was hired to take out Gene, who was fighting Gene in the bamboo looking forest or whatever. Mind you, the way they kind of like then spin this around is that Gene and the guy that they were fighting, Mugen, the ogre, Fu, and the guy with one arm, they're across the water. So it's like they were in this like bamboo, whatchamacallit, and then they walked out, and this is Samurai Champloo. And then so when the ogre snaps the guy with one arm's neck, he's like, well, that was my client. My client was the one who was gonna who hired me to take you out. But since he's out, then I'm not gonna do this for free. But I guess we'll see each other another time. And so that happens. But then right after that, Mugen gets up and takes out the ogre. And yeah, so the ogre is like, well, I'm calling him an ogre, but he's not really an ogre. That's what it was just kind of referring to him as. And so Mugen, King of God, sent a gift. We got to do a freestyle. All right, so thank you. Grazie. So Mugen takes out the ogre guy, the music stops. And so Fu looks at the ogre, she's like, well, why did you help me? Why did you save me? And he was like, you were the only person who was not scared of me and not scared to look at me. So that's how he like passes away. That's how that scene ends. So, oh, we got mad gifts. We got mad gifts. All right, we got going on a freestyle. We got going on a freestyle. Thank you. It's a gift party. So let me just finish this last point here. Thank you so much. Grazie. Grazie mille. Grazie mille. Thanks a lot in Italian. Prego. So, whatchamacallit, if you can see how I'm even like narrating in a sense, the whole back part of it was, the ending was just kind of lackluster how that whole thing kind of plays out. But it's still like beautiful animation. It's still beautiful animation. So that is my only gripe about this show. Well, this episode. Again, I still like the animation. The plot was almost there for the most part. It was like the scenes with Gene fighting the other guy who was hired to take him out in the forest. It was like they're just short, quick. It doesn't really show like their talking is supposed to make Gene seem like he's super great at it, but the actual like essence of it doesn't really portray that. That's one thing I would say. It's supposed to seem if Gene is like some great fighter, but the fight scene doesn't really, you don't really feel that within it. That is my opinion. It's too short and it's just shoo, shoo, and then it's just done. And he's talking about it. Oh, you're really good. Oh man, you're really good. Like that's how it feels. And then it was like, oh well, I guess we're gonna have to finish this another time or whatever. And like that's how that was like just not. That was for me. I didn't feel like it was done well. And so that's that. Just it had like the beginning of it was nice. The end of it for me was just lackluster. I don't think it was tied up very well. Just that last little ending part. You know what I'm saying? I think where not that where it lost me, but where it was like it was the guy torturing and just talking to them and drawing out that whatchamacallit. But again, some people think that that is for people like that who they want to see people struggle and they get off on the torture and they want to, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of got lost at that point. That was kind of like drawn out. Him torturing Mugen and going back and forth and doing the same thing with her. But what he does say, he says, I am sharing my suffering. He says, I am sharing my suffering. And so that was like a point to whatchamacallit. It's supposed to replicate how short actual sword fights are. they would be done in a couple seconds, maybe a minute at best. Well, I've seen it's so those are types of things where you would have to, that's a rich people sport. You see what I'm saying? Of things that you can or cannot kind of sort of relate to, and how can you, imitate that, replicate that in real life. And so the reason I say that is like of a rich people sport is because fencing. Like I've never been to a fencing whatchamacallit. I've never seen how long they do last or anything like that. I do know that certain things can be whatchamacallit, but I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? That for me, um, I would, and so like the other reason I kind of like gravitate with this is because I feel like there used to be kung fu movies. You know what I'm saying? There used to be kung fu karate fighting movies, and we don't have a lot of those. I don't know the last time that there has been a kung fu for fighting movie. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think certain things of those are like kind of sort of missing, and as far as entertainment goes today. So that's another thing I kind of appreciate about it. Um, but and because it's so one of the things like things that are done well and is super cool is like when a show starts, the fact that it shows a quick, but it's like it shows keys, right? All you see in the frame is keys jingling, right? But then it will cut out to, a man, the two men walking, and the man, so you got, oh, the man's carrying the keys. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, and again, I'm only on episode 2. I don't know how things are going to go forward. However, those are maybe if they could show some of those types of things, and like it would be if you were to actually, and they don't have to necessarily be samurais, but if you were to see two people who are actually skilled, all fights in samurai are short and stylized. And so it would be one of those, if you actually saw two people in real life, you know what I'm saying, where, and just to see a couple of those, and if they were to try to animate that more, yeah, I think, and I'm not saying this, I'm not saying this, I just think that if they're able to do and emphasize, like I say, again, in Cowboy Bebop, you would see the scene would be a can of cola. Somebody grabbed that. You would see just, all you would see is the lighter and somebody trying to flick it. You know what I'm saying? So it's showing, I think it would be decent. And again, it's only episode 2. They may do it at some point later, but to see, you know, how a sword could move here and there and somebody trying to, or missing, or yeah, those types of like, to, if you're gonna zoom in on keys swinging, if you're gonna zoom in on a person walking in just their feet, if you're gonna zoom in on this and third, I think that is worth, especially within a sword fight, to show like the closeness or where it is, or you know what I'm saying, those types of things. Um, so it's something, I think, but to see like a real one and try to animate it that way. See a real one and animate it that way. But that's it. Kind of the only thing that kind of lost me was the him torturing them and drawing that out. That was my only like for real gripe, because it kind of like lost me there. But it's a tying it all together. So I still think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful animation though, and so I still like it. And I what I like was like, the, again, Fu is, she's a girl, so the men are gonna talk to her a certain way, and this and the third. But her being like this kind of sort of helpless character, right? And she just, gullible could be a word, but she just kind of ends up just falling prey to like what's going on type of thing. And so that's the thing. And mm, yeah, so it's to be continued. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I really kind of sort of thought. Uh, yeah, that was my only thing. The the amount of talking the one-eyed man is doing to drag it out of whatever, right? Those, because Mugen takes out the ogre guy just like that. And how sometimes it is just a matter of action, is just doing that. You know what I'm saying? Mugen doesn't waste time when it's time to, like, take action. And so that was just one of those things. That was just one of them. Everything else that I'm learning for the first time. So yeah, it's that's why it's worth, a conversation and looking at and studying, the art of storytelling. You know what I'm saying? Even in a sense. So those are all things I just kind of focused on. All right. Now there was a series of gifts that King the God said. So there's a floating heart. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 hundreds, and a floating heart. So let's see here. The first gift was a floating heart to start, followed by not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Who am I referencing? The king the God did send 11 hundreds. Not 1, not 2. The king, LeBron James, King James, not the Bible, but you might be liable. Are you reliable? I'm just saying, King the God sent 11 hundreds. And then the way that we started, it ends with a final floating heart. The way that you start, the way that you end, a floating heart. But on The Simpsons, you got the character named Bart. Still working on my art. We don't have to say the word, but Ice Spice, you think you're not even the, we don't have to say it. We don't have to say it. All right. I just had to do a little freestyle. Thank you for the gifts. Oh, man. Yeah. So, there's that. Jojo, I hope your fiance sleep. It's getting kind of late. The night is young. The night is young. All right. So, that is my recap, my reaction, my analysis of episode 2, Samurai Champloo. 3303 on the timer, 333 for those who matter and that cares. Is that a good thing? I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm trying to see, because sometimes I'm not sure if sometimes it'll come back and there may be another point and I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned that. So I'm just trying to see if there anything else I kind of sort of wanted to mention about this session. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anything else? Final thoughts, It's still the running theme of, how people move knowing that you can defend yourself, And if you cannot defend yourself, what can you do to, like, supplement that? Like the dude letting the other guy out of jail and then having this whole setup, the girl, the other guy, and hiring other people to help him. You know what I'm saying? And it's strength and the power behind money. Samurai is a slow build for sure, but they really get into the stride later in the show. Oh, I gotta, yeah, I love the animation, and so far, like, with the piecing together certain things, Yeah, my only gripe was the amount of talking the one-armed guy did as he was torturing and slowing it down and not getting to the point. That's my only gripe about this session. And vulgarity. I think one of the things is and this is I'm not sure. I think it's just part of the lore because it's just like if you could, right, when it comes down to like censorship, I think there are certain things that would be done, you know what I'm saying, and of what can a show really say and do. And, you know, it's that was one of the reasons, again, like, and I mentioned like American Gangster. Why they walking around so they don't steal nothing? If you know what scene I'm talking about, it's like you don't see movies have certain like stuff and doing just certain things. And so like I really like, and it's something like again like in Bebop, how every once in a while you might have saw a magazine, you know, or in this one she did move back her whatchamacallit, and she got on top of him and they kissed. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things in the way they talk to, and that could be another thing where they talk to certain women and how they're talking to them and time and whatchamacallit. And so the little bit of brashness and at least tiptoeing towards uh, what could potentially maybe happen in a sense, you know, and how much are they really going to, you know, and being able to do that and not do that because of the platform that you are on, and you thinking like, you know, and so it's like it seems as if, for instance, as much as they talk about, and it's just for conversational purposes, like with rap music, right, being of a, for lack thereof, substance, it is, well, well, what music can, where can you have this expression of stuff that really happens in real life for regardless of the vulgarity of it, you know? And so music, and for conversational purposes and me not knowing other stuff, but well, rap music is that one lane where it's like, well, if it's going to be, and it's just for conversation, trash. It's just like you can do it there, and you can have that freedom of expression there. They can, a rapper can say the most outlandish things. You know what I'm saying? And it's under the guise of music. Whereas other, especially when it starts to get towards visuals and this and the third, then all of a sudden it's, you know, and depending on the platform, how far can you actually push the envelope? And even if it is just for, you know, the realness of life, which is again one of the reasons that Grand Theft Auto has the, and it's not even a whatchamacallit. That's one of the reasons Grand Theft Auto is the best game that has been ever made. You know what I'm saying? There is no sugarcoating of life, the good or the bad. You see what I'm saying? Grand Theft Auto, the reason Grand Theft Auto is the best game ever made, there's no sugarcoating with the rawness of life. And whatever it is that you want to happen, you like, I can do this, and you can have this expression, and this under the guise of a game. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to a movie, or we've seen how the movie substance has just, we have better technology and it's not getting any better. Movies aren't whatchamacallit, right? And now it's like, well, what if we put it into a cartoon? And you still see how Cowboy Bebop or just certain ones where they're not going to get the traction that they could have gotten, you know? And again, how some of them are able to play with certain schemes because they've been built a certain way. And I'll say Family Guy or American Dad, they can get away. Oh, South Park. South Park would probably be the most unhinged cartoon, but they've already have this. But you, again, as beautifully as this is animated, I'll say this, and this can be the case in point, right? If this animated, if you saw the animation on this, but it had to, and this is why I say if you took Primal and let the people who animated Tarzan, it will look totally different and it will look better, right? Let the people who animated Bebop or Samurai Champloo animate the same episode of South Park and put that in their whatchamacallit. Oh, you really wouldn't see the show. You see what I'm saying? But because it's South Park, and that's like they have this base, and it's more so the artistry isn't to this level. You know what I'm saying? It has, and it's you know what I'm saying, good or bad. It's very simplistic circles and triangles and squares over there because South Park is circles, triangles, and squares, and it's super simple. And this and the third, they get away with a whole bunch of whatchamacallit. But let them try to animate some of that stuff that was going on. You'd be like, it would. You see what I'm saying? All cartoons, and they are not just able to because of whatever. Um, and so you would think like, how in the world, like especially now, the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, I'm not sure. You know how, again, with entertainment, you got to take stuff with a grain of salt. We don't know who really this and the third was the whole thing planned because he came right back the next week, got even more money, and then he gonna pull out the script. They told me to say this. Whether they told you to or not, you getting paid and um you getting paid and you still say what they want you to say. I don't. You see what I'm saying? So maybe stuff like that. Maybe stuff like that, bro. But I enjoyed them for at least get pushing it to that edge, and then you got to make a switch or a way to get out of the scene. Maybe you see what I'm saying? And it's still like, you know what? We'll do it this way. We're still gonna get to this point, but we're gonna get there another way. So that's why I say that it's appreciated to at least see certain concepts and schemes still played out. My phone ain't charging, bro. That John crazy, man. That John crazy, man. Alright. So I'll leave this one open, and we may have to start a. I'll see. I'll see. We may have to start a Samurai Champloo playlist. It's going to be the maybe 123rd playlist. Man, yeah, it's going to be a whole nother playlist, I think, but it's worth talking about.